Part of tonight's Pure West Sport with Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors. We're on DAB, digital radio across Pembrokeshire, live on social media. We're on the PWR app, on your smart speakers and on the website as well. Brilliant to talk to Eddie Collins, so passionate about his sport. And we go from one really passionate person to another because Rupert Moon is with us to reflect on a great weekend at the Valero Sevens. Rupert kicked it off with a couple of friends, of course, at the Neyland Hub Friday before last. And we're going to find out how it all went. Rupert, evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm still a little bit fatigued from that Friday. It was a long day and a long night, but magnificent from all people who purchased the tickets. But the organisation was just fabulous, and what a great venue. We were fed and watered by the bearded chefs, and the Neyland Hub is just a wonderful place.
Yeah, it's a facility that everyone in Pembrokeshire is really proud of, and it's good to see how versatile it is as well. It gets used for everything from indoor cricket to nights like yours. For people who are watching who maybe missed the first interview we did, can you just tell us what that Friday was all about and the weekend as well, and why it was such an important fundraiser, Rupert?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were raising money for a gentleman by the name of Craig Maxwell, a son of Pembrokeshire, a proud Pembrokeshire boy, who unfortunately has got terminal cancer, so stage 4, and he's been diagnosed 2 years ago, but has raised 1.6 million to get us all the ability to have early cancer testing. And there was an ITV programme on it, and it highlighted the fact that he has been unable to get some funding for himself to get some experimental drugs to prolong his life a little bit longer. And so there was a challenge. So Gareth Schofield of Valero, a real dear friend of Craig's, came up with the idea to put on the function on the Friday night, where I managed to get Robin McBride, Leinster and Wales coach and Welsh international, Neil Jenkins, Wales, British Lions, Lee Byrne, Wales, British Lions, and Ken Owens, Wales and British Lions. It comes out to
top friends,
and it was called Moon and the Stars. Obviously, they were all the stars, and we were fed and watered royally. We had an auction, we had a raffle, and then across the weekend, Gareth and Valero and a real team, great team of volunteers, organised the Solstice Sevens. I think it's the second year it's happened, but what we were able to do, through the help of Valero and Gareth's obviously relationship as an employee of Valero, and the general manager there was very supportive of the cause, is to cover all the costs. So everything that was raised actually went to support Valindra and the Genomics, the Craig Maxwell Genomics Family Fund. So it's unprecedented in the way that they do it. So all the costs, and everybody was working for free. No one took a penny, and we were able to raise a significant sum. And it's a shame. I hope that Gareth was we're here to tell the number, but I double checked. It's £17,166, which is
wow,
pretty significant sum.
And a word on Gareth there, Rupert, obviously.
Yeah.
The way Gareth promoted that tournament was shown by the fact that you had a Binya-based team, I believe, with Nestle players win that Sevens final. It wasn't just a Pembrokeshire tournament; you'd people travelling down.
Yeah, and from far and wide. And look, it's what they did and how he worked tirelessly, and his friends and family and team of volunteers from Valero. We've been, across Facebook and all media channels, and without your help as well, of course, here on the radio. You've been really supportive of the event, and it was very emotional at the start. It was very emotional at the start of the event, and Gareth now is here. But when I chatted to Craig, and his mum was in attendance, and there was a lot of lumps in the throat because he talks so graphically but passionately about what he wants to do and where he came from. And Gareth is a childhood friend of Craig's, and he'll probably talk about the impact of that speech and those questions I was asking Craig, how it resonated amongst the audience. Is that right, Gareth?
Oh, it was unbelievable. He was he's such a for what he's going through. You wouldn't think there's anything wrong, but the way he come across was so touching. And he's always thinking about other people rather than himself. He's a he's a top bloke. But like you said, the whole event that went from everybody touched on his story. They tried to live, see what he's going through and things. But he was a really good speaker. He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, look, he's so generous in the fact that, in the time that he's been diagnosed with terminal cancer, to raise 1.6 million, to have walked around Wales, to have rowed from coast to coast, to have done so many different things, cycled to Paris, all while he's under this cloud of a terminal illness. And he announced at the event that now we can all go to any health board and get this early check because of the fundraising that he's done. So he's going to save many lives because we can identify, and he talked about his days, I think it was 48, that he had to, 48 days or longer, I think it was maybe, that he had to wait to get the diagnosis. And it may have been able to, if he was early diagnosed, he may have been able to do something to help him. But unfortunately, that can't be. But for anybody in the future, now that genomics fund, the family fund, allows us to all get that early testing.
Gareth, it is great to have you with us, and thank you for joining us. And just before you joined us this evening, Rupert announced the amount that was raised, £17,166. That is absolutely phenomenal. How proud are you of everyone's efforts to come together across those 3 days to raise that amount of money?
Oh, it was incredible, and firstly, a massive thank you to Rupert and the guys. The Friday night event wouldn't have happened without their generosity, and there's some stories I think we've got to keep in the room, Rupert.
Absolutely.
I'm going to come to that, and we'll come to that in a minute, Gareth.
No, to be fair, it's a massive thank you to everyone that managed to turn up to the event and generously donated. It was the first time we've ever put on an event like that as part of the Solicitors Sevens. But it was really well supported, and we couldn't quite believe the amount that was raised on the Friday night.
No, it's brilliant. Gordon, I know you're waiting to come in as well, so you jump in now.
Yeah, well, Gareth, you've put your whole soul into this event, and you've done it for a few years as well. So you need to take a lot of the plaudits as well. You've been the leader in this as well, and Rupert coming on board and the stars, the rugby players, it's made it such a great event, and the total that you've raised, what a fantastic sum.
It's great. I can't personally take all the credit. We got a fantastic team. They're all volunteers. They all give up their own spare time to make the event happen. And like you said, this year was probably the biggest event we've ever held. We had over 28 teams on the Saturday, followed by more on the Sunday. And even the weather never stopped the tournament going ahead. Unfortunately, we had a bit of downpour come through on both afternoons. But no, honestly, it was so well supported. Mixing the sports, getting everybody involved, different age groups this year as well. So it all worked really well.
I was talking about how important it was also for your connection with Valero, and how the general manager was there supporting, and there were key members of staff, and the way that they covered all the costs to allow you to have 100% of the profit supporting the cause. And that's, what you do for the community is really important.
Oh, they're fantastic. We're very lucky to be supported by Valero. It's something that they strongly believe in, giving something back to the community. And like I said, we've got a great bunch of people that give up their own time to do certain things. And it's not just sport that we look after in the community. We do other things like schools and painting and stuff like that, But the full focus of our event, obviously, was the sporting side. But yeah, no, I can't thank them enough. It's well supported throughout the whole refinery, and even companies outside the refinery that joined in on Friday.
I think the only thing that went wrong on the Friday night, Rupert, was you were doing a watch along of the Lions, weren't you? And that didn't quite go to plan, did it, against Argentina?
No, and I think that's probably down to the fact that Robin McBride and Neil Jenkins weren't on the coaching team. That's so, yeah, it was great because they're dear friends of mine, and Robin was. You have to see him to believe him. He's certainly an interesting individual and one of my best friends. And Neil Jenkins, just is so knowledgeable, and the way that they were able to talk passionately about the support they've had, but also the stories which you'll have to talk to other people that were there to be able to find out what they said and the insights that they gave.
Fraser, I know you had a Lions question for Rupert, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I just, talking about the last time you came on, the irony, Rupert, of what's happened this week. Obviously, a Welsh scrum half gone home, and
such a shame.
Already out, I think, in the Southern Hemisphere from Scotland coming over. But on a serious note, a bitter blow for Thomas. Played so well on Saturday, and for Wales, really. We only had 2 lines in this squad, and it's already been halved.
Look, it's heartbreaking, and it shows how fragile your opportunities can be. He was playing really well. It was a fabulous try, and he's had that opportunity. But yeah, look, it's. I think we'll lose more players on this trip. So I'm hoping that a couple of Welsh boys will be able to fly over from Japan, because it's going to get more physical, and it's going to get harder and tougher as the tour goes on. But I was pleased with their performance, and it showed glimmers of hope, and we can look forward to Wednesday's game now.
Yeah, and were there any worries after that Argentina game, Rupert, that just a bit of rustiness, the side coming together?
This is a really tough tour at the end of a long season, and so we were coming up against Argentina, who were very powerful, but it was a great learning curve, because you learn more when you lose, and I think that was the shock that they needed. They wouldn't really want a loss, but I think they learned a lot from that, and it all stand them in good stead.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, listen, Rupert, thank you for coming back on this evening. I'm going to just go to Gareth for the final word on that. A brilliant amount of fundraising, Gareth. I think we want to know next year is 2026. The Sevens, is that all being planned already?
But believe it or not, it was getting planned, I think, before the event even finished this last weekend. But yeah, no, it's something I'm very passionate about. I really do like introducing Sevens and different sports to a weekend. It was great to see so many youngsters there as well. Something that I think we're failing on in Wales. We need to start, introducing more youngsters to the game, get these youth teams back up and running, and supporting the local senior sides.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully it'll be maybe something a little bit different as well next year being added, but we'll see. I don't want to be too greedy too soon.
Rupert, if you can line up a few pals to come along again next year. I remember your contact book must be big enough, I'm sure. And maybe you could tell us some of the stories that we didn't get on air that time as well. Listen, thank you to both of you. An absolutely phenomenal amount of money raised for a very special family. So great work, and thank you for coming back on to Pure West Sport to tell us about it. And that is it from us for this evening. Fraser, thank you very much indeed. Hope you get some more runs next weekend for Llanrhian. We didn't rib you too much after your first duck of the season.
Any less, could I?
Yeah, Gordon, thank you very much to you as well. We are back next Monday. It's the gaming show with Stuart with Mags Optics. He is on the way after 9 o'clock this Monday evening. Good night.